Hi, I'm Donna Williams, Chairwoman of the Wake County Republican Party, and with me today is Judge Richard Dietz. And Judge Dietz is one of our candidates for North Carolina Supreme Court. So thank you so very much for coming in today, Judge.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. This is great. I always say it's tough for judges. We kind of feel like we're down there by the dog catcher at the bottom of the ballot. People don't know who we are, so this is a great opportunity just to meet folks here in Wake County and tell you about myself so you can get to know me.
Excellent. Well, that's where we're going to start. If you'll share a little bit about you with our listeners.
Sure. So I'm from what I sometimes refer to as a mountain family. So part of the Dietz family is from the Blowing Rock area. And then the other part is the same mountains. We just joke that they pronounce it wrong, so that they call it the Appalachians. So I was actually born in the closest town that you all would know. This is in Pennsylvania. It's called Punxsutawney. And the reason you might know Punxsutawney is, every Groundhog Day in February, the groundhog that pops out of the ground, Punxsutawney Phil, well, that's the town where Punxsutawney Phil, the groundhog, lives. So my family was just railroad and telephone workers. So I was the first even to go to college for my family. And in fact, when I graduated high school, my first job was climbing telephone poles, just like my dad did. And so I did that for a while, saving up some money. I needed a new car and all that sort of thing. But my parents had always said, we want you to be the first, go to college, get an education. And so I did. And I was always kind of interested in economics. And then when I got to college, I really found that law and economics is what interested me. So I pursued that both in undergrad, and then I went to Wake Forest for law school, worked real hard, graduated first in my class. And then I went from law school. I also have a master's degree from Duke. So a lot of education in there. But I think what really grounds me is the experience, the Dietz family ideas of just it's hard work, up there in the mountains, the things like, working on the railroad, climbing telephone poles. That's what I bring to the court, is that kind of perspective.
Excellent. So what made you decide? I mean, you went to law school, you did all your education. Were you first an attorney before you went into being a judge? Share that with us.
So I had a very focused practice when I was a lawyer. So most lawyers that become Court of Appeals judges or Supreme Court justices. So right now I'm on the Court of Appeals, a judge there, but of course I'm running to take a step up to the Supreme Court. There'll be a retirement. One of the Democrats is retiring on the court, and so I'm running for that open seat. But when you're doing this type of work, like a Court of Appeals judge or a Supreme Court justice, you're always doing appeals. That's all those courts handle. And so what I did in my practice as a lawyer was just appeals. In fact, I'm the only judge or candidate in these races who's a board-certified specialist in appeals, which to me is something important if that's all you're going to be doing as a Supreme Court justice. But that's what I did as a lawyer. So all over the country, including if you want to see something neat, go to judgedietz.com, that's my website, and you can see courtroom sketches of me in the U.S. Supreme Court when I was a lawyer arguing there. So it's like the Super Bowl of courts, and you can see in one of them Justice Sotomayor, she was grilling me. I was defending gun owner rights in a case, and so she, as you can imagine, was asking me some tough questions. So go to my website, you can check those out.
That's great. So would you share with us your judicial philosophy, please?
Yeah, so I have like an elevator speech about this because, it's one of those things when I'm at the county fair, that sort of thing. Usually people don't want to hear about the judges at all, and usually I'm just asking them, are you a Panthers fan or something like that. But if somebody does want to talk about courts, that's usually what they want to know is, what kind of judge are you? And so I've got a 2-minute explanation for this. And it starts out with, I say to people, what do you think is the most important part of the Constitution? I just ask them to think about all the checks and balances in there, all those important rights in the Bill of Rights. What's the most important? And then I say, for me, having been a lawyer that did so much constitutional work and now having been a judge for 8 years on the Court of Appeals, it's an easy question to answer. And the answer is it's the first 3 words. It's literally the big words, we the people. And my concern is there are just too many judges out there today. They think it's we the judges. And what I'm going to bring to our Supreme Court is an understanding that what's the role of a judge? It's not to go to the Supreme Court with some kind of political mission where you want to change things. It's to go there because you want to do the job of a judge on our state's highest court, which is defend our rights and protect the rule of law, and then to help people resolve their legal disputes fairly. What we want is for people to say, North Carolina is a great place to live. Why? Because if you get involved in the court system there, you get justice. And that's what judges should be focused on.
I thank you for that. There's a lot of people that are pretty disgusted with some judges today because of the way the things that they've done. I'll just leave it there. But thank you very much for your beliefs there. So you already mentioned your website. If you would share with our listeners how they can help you with this race, with this election.
Yeah, so you know how I mentioned most people don't have any clue who the judges are? Well, that's where you all can really help, because if you're watching this video, you're probably somebody pretty engaged in voting and getting the word out, and you've probably got a lot of friends who are going to come to you and say, I never know with these judges who to vote for. So you can help with the most important thing, which is getting the word out. There's lots of information on my website, judgedietz.com. You can go there. You can also sign up to volunteer, and I'm going to have yard signs and car magnets and all those sorts of things. So if you want to help spread the word, that's another great way to do it, is just get my name out there, because that's what we need as judges.
Absolutely. And this office will have your yard signs and your magnets and your bumpers, whatever you have, we will have them here. And so people that live in Wake County can come here to collect information for you and any other candidates that they want to help support. So thank you. And I'll just start to wrap this by thanking our listeners. And I have an ask, and it is to share this video with anyone that you know that lives in the state of North Carolina. Judge Dietz will be on the ballot across the whole state this November. And so everybody knows a whole different circle of people. If you're on social media, you have a lot of connections there, not just in Raleigh or in Wake County. So share it. Email it, put it up on social media, help get it out. And, you know, I just want to say thank you for what you do. Thank you for the fact of moving up a notch, shall we say, but I do think being a judge, just in general, is so very important. And to have honest people that want to do it the way it's supposed to be done is even more important. So we thank you for that, and thank you for coming in today.
Well, thank you, Donna. And I do have a closing remark. So, you know, you have to have a tagline. You have the catchy slogan. So here's what, it's hard to find something that rhymes with Dietz, but I finally got it. So here's what you need to tell everybody in November is it's time to get on your feet and vote for Judge Dietz.
Oh, I like that. Get on your feet and vote for Judge Dietz. That's great. And in the description below, you will find all of Judge Dietz's information, website, social media, etc., as well as the county parties. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you again, Judge Dietz, for coming in.
Thank you, Donna.